More than 40% of Americans over the age of 60 are living with cataracts, and nearly 3 million are battling glaucoma. Millions more are losing vision slowly without even realizing it. These aren't just numbers. They're silent warnings. The truth is, most people don't recognize the signs of vision loss until serious damage has already occurred. Maybe you've noticed yourself struggling to read a food label, feeling uneasy driving at night, or tilting your head to catch the right light while reading the mail. At first, these small inconveniences seem harmless, but according to research from the American Academy of Ophthalmology, subtle changes in vision are often the earliest indicators of much bigger issues inside the eye. For those living with diabetes, the risks climb even higher. High blood sugar can quietly injure tiny blood vessels in the retina, often without symptoms. No pain, no redness, just gradual, invisible damage that eventually blurs the world around you. Dr. James Porter, a board-certified specialist in senior health, often hears patients say, "I just thought it was part of getting older." But aging alone isn't the culprit. Cataracts, glaucoma, and diabetic eye disease are stealth conditions that don't knock before they enter. They erode not just clarity of sight, but independence, making everyday tasks like cooking, reading, and even recognizing a loved one's face far more difficult. But here's the hopeful truth: vision loss is not inevitable. According to a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, early lifestyle changes and proper nutrition can dramatically slow down or even prevent age-related vision decline. Small daily choices, what you eat, how you care for your body, can help protect your eyes for years to come. If this resonates with you, I invite you to stay with me. And if you find this video valuable, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Together, we can take small steps that protect not only our eyes, but also the way we experience the world. More than 40% of Americans over the age of 60 are living with cataracts, and nearly 3 million are battling glaucoma. Millions more are losing vision slowly without even realizing it. These aren't just numbers, they're silent warnings. The truth is, most people don't recognize the signs of vision loss until serious damage has already occurred. Maybe you've noticed yourself struggling to read a food label, feeling uneasy driving at night, or tilting your head to catch the right light while reading the mail. At first, these small inconveniences seem harmless. But according to research from the American Academy of Ophthalmology, subtle changes in vision are often the earliest indicators of much bigger issues inside the eye. For those living with diabetes, the risks climb even higher. High blood sugar can quietly injure tiny blood vessels in the retina, often without symptoms. No pain, no redness, just gradual, invisible damage that eventually blurs the world around you. Dr. James Porter, a board-certified specialist in senior health, often hears patients say, "I just thought it was part of getting older." But aging alone isn't the culprit. Cataracts, glaucoma, and diabetic eye disease are stealth conditions that don't knock before they enter. They erode not just clarity of sight, but independence, making everyday tasks like cooking, reading, and even recognizing a loved one's face far more difficult. But here's the hopeful truth: vision loss is not inevitable. According to a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, early lifestyle changes and proper nutrition can dramatically slow down or even prevent age-related vision decline. Small daily choices, what you eat, how you care for your body, can help protect your eyes for years to come. If this resonates with you, I invite you to stay with me. And if you find this video valuable, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Together, we can take small steps that protect not only our eyes, but also the way we experience the world. If there's one nutrient I wish every older adult would pay closer attention to, it's omega-3 fatty acids. You've probably heard they're good for the heart, but what most people don't realize is that omega-3s are also essential for protecting your eyesight, especially against glaucoma and age-related macular degeneration. Here's why. The retina, that paper-thin layer of tissue at the back of your eye, is responsible for turning light into images your brain can understand. It's delicate, and as the years pass, it becomes more vulnerable to inflammation, reduced blood flow, and oxidative damage. Omega-3s act like the bodyguards of the retina. One form in particular, DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, is actually a structural building block of the retina itself. Without enough DHA, the photoreceptor cells in your eyes weaken and vision becomes less sharp. According to research from the National Eye Institute, higher DHA intake is linked to a significantly lower risk of advanced macular degeneration. Another form, EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid, reduces inflammation and keeps blood vessels flexible, ensuring steady circulation to the optic nerve. Poor blood flow is one of the hidden drivers of vision loss in glaucoma. And then there's ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, the plant-based omega-3 found in foods like walnuts, chia seeds, and flax seeds. While not as potent as DHA and EPA, it still plays a valuable supporting role, especially for those who follow plant-based diets. The tricky part? Your body doesn't make omega-3s on its own. That means your eyes are completely dependent on what you put on your plate. Research from Harvard Medical School found that individuals who ate fatty fish at least twice per week had a 42% lower risk of developing age-related macular degeneration compared to those who rarely ate fish. That's a powerful difference from such a simple habit. So, what does this look like in daily life? Try adding salmon, sardines, or mackerel to your meals a couple of times per week. Sprinkle ground flaxseed into your oatmeal. Snack on a handful of walnuts. And here's a bonus tip. Combine omega-3 rich foods with antioxidant-packed fruits and vegetables. Together, they help neutralize free radicals, offering double the protection for your vision. As Dr. James Porter often reminds his patients, consistency is key. You don't need expensive supplements or complicated routines. Just steady, small changes that feed your eyes with what they truly need. Because when you nourish your retina, you're not just protecting your sight, you're protecting your independence. When people think about protecting their eyes, they usually picture carrots or vitamin C. But here's something many overlook. Your eyes don't work in isolation. They depend on a constant flow of signals from your brain through a network of fragile, highly sensitive nerves. And that's exactly where the B vitamins come in. Specifically, vitamins B6, B9, folate, and B12 are like the maintenance crew for your nervous system. They don't just keep your energy levels steady. They actively safeguard the optic nerve, support healthy blood circulation, and ensure that communication between your eyes and brain stays clear and efficient. Take vitamin B6, for example. It helps your body produce neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that allow your eyes to send signals to your brain in real time. Without enough B6, those signals can become sluggish, affecting how quickly you recognize words on a page or how fast you respond while driving. According to research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, low B6 levels have been linked to higher rates of age-related eye disease. Folate, or B9, is another unsung hero. It plays a key role in DNA repair and cell renewal. This is especially important in the retina, where light exposure constantly stresses the cells. Adequate folate intake helps reduce the risk of macular degeneration, a leading cause of central vision loss among seniors. And then there's vitamin B12, often called the nerve protector. B12 supports the myelin sheath, which acts like insulation around your optic nerve fibers. Without it, those nerve signals begin to fray, leading to blurred or distorted vision. Research from Harvard Medical School has shown that adults with low B12 are more likely to suffer optic nerve damage, some of which can be irreversible if left untreated. The tricky part is that deficiencies in these vitamins become more common with age, especially B12. As the stomach produces less acid, the body struggles to absorb it efficiently from food. That's why Dr. James Porter often encourages older patients to be intentional about their diet. Good sources include leafy greens, beans, lentils, eggs, dairy, lean meats, and fortified cereals. For vegetarians or vegans, fortified plant-based milks can help close the gap. Here's a simple tip. Pair B vitamins with vitamin C-rich foods to enhance absorption. Think spinach with a squeeze of lemon or beans tossed with fresh bell peppers. Small tweaks like these make a big difference, because at the end of the day, tired eyes and blurred vision aren't just signs of aging. They may be your nerves asking for help. And B vitamins are one of the most powerful ways to answer that call. When it comes to protecting your eyesight as you age, one of the most underestimated nutrients is vitamin E. Most people think of it as a skin vitamin, but this fat-soluble antioxidant plays a much bigger role, especially in defending your eyes against the wear and tear of time. Here's why. Every day, your eyes are bombarded by free radicals, unstable molecules created by sunlight, pollution, smoking, and even normal metabolism. Over time, these free radicals chip away at delicate eye tissues, particularly the lens and the retina. That slow, invisible process is called oxidative stress, and it's one of the main drivers of cataracts and age-related vision decline. Vitamin E acts as a shield, neutralizing those free radicals before they cause lasting damage. According to research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, individuals with higher vitamin E intake had a significantly lower risk of developing cataracts compared to those with low intake. And another study from Harvard Medical School confirmed that vitamin E helps preserve lens clarity, delaying the progression of cataracts in older adults. So how does it work? Vitamin E stabilizes cell membranes, keeping the proteins and fats in your eyes flexible and strong. Think of it as armor for your eye cells, quietly absorbing damage so your vision doesn't have to. The benefit isn't immediate. You won't notice clearer eyesight overnight. But over months and years, this steady protection makes a measurable difference in how your vision ages. Now, the good news, vitamin E is easy to find in everyday foods. Almonds, sunflower seeds, hazelnuts, peanuts, spinach, broccoli, and avocado are all rich sources. The key is consistency. Sprinkle sunflower seeds on your salad, snack on a handful of almonds, or blend spinach and avocado into a smoothie. And here's an important tip from Dr. James Porter. Because vitamin E is fat-soluble, your body absorbs it best when paired with healthy fats. Adding olive oil, nut butter, or slices of avocado to your meal helps your body use vitamin E more effectively. One of Dr. Porter's patients, Mark, a 71-year-old retired teacher, began adding more nuts and leafy greens to his meals after learning about vitamin E's role in eye health. 6 months later, his eye exam showed no further progression of his early cataracts. He told Dr. Porter, "It feels good knowing I'm not just waiting for my eyes to get worse. I'm fighting back." And that's the real power of vitamin E. It doesn't reverse aging, but it helps slow it down, giving your eyes the steady defense they deserve. Small daily choices, practiced consistently, can add up to years of clearer vision and greater independence. When most people hear vitamin C, they immediately think about colds or boosting immunity. But here's the surprising truth. This nutrient is also one of the most powerful protectors of your eyes. In fact, vitamin C plays such an essential role that your eyes contain some of the highest concentrations of it anywhere in the body. So, why does that matter? Because vitamin C is a master antioxidant. Every day, your eyes are exposed to oxidative stress from sunlight, pollution, and even normal aging. Over time, that stress damages the proteins in the lens, causing them to clump together and form cataracts. According to research from the Journal of the American Medical Association, adults with higher vitamin C intake had a significantly lower risk of cataract progression. But vitamin C does more than just fight free radicals. It's also a building block for collagen, the protein that gives structure and strength to the cornea, retina, and blood vessels in the eye. Without enough collagen support, these delicate structures weaken, making you more vulnerable to vision problems as you age. Research from Harvard Medical School has shown that vitamin C deficiency directly impacts the stability of eye tissues, increasing the likelihood of glaucoma and retinal damage. The good news is that vitamin C is one of the easiest vitamins to add to your diet. Citrus fruits like oranges and grapefruits, berries such as strawberries and kiwis, and vegetables like bell peppers and broccoli are all excellent sources, and you don't need to overhaul your meals to get enough. A glass of orange juice at breakfast, a handful of strawberries as a snack, or sliced bell peppers with lunch can all boost your levels. Here's a simple but powerful tip from Dr. James Porter. Pair vitamin C with vitamin E. When these two antioxidants work together, they amplify each other's effects, offering double the defense against oxidative stress. For example, a spinach salad, rich in vitamin E, topped with strawberries, rich in vitamin C, creates a nutrient powerhouse for your eyes. So, while vitamin C may seem like a basic nutrient, it's anything but ordinary for your vision. With small daily habits, you can build a shield of protection that helps your eyes stay clearer, stronger, and healthier for years to come. You've probably heard the old saying, "Carrots are good for your eyes." Well, that advice is rooted in real science, and the key player behind it is vitamin A. This vitamin isn't just helpful, it's absolutely essential for night vision and overall retinal health. Here's why. Deep inside your retina lives a protein called rhodopsin. It acts like the switch that helps your eyes adjust in dim light, allowing you to see when the sun sets or when headlights pass you at night. But rhodopsin can't function without vitamin A. Without enough of it, your eyes struggle to adapt, leading to one of the earliest signs of deficiency, night blindness. According to research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, low vitamin A intake is strongly associated with impaired dark adaptation and higher risks of accidents among older adults. But the story doesn't end there. Vitamin A is also a powerful antioxidant that helps protect the retina from oxidative stress, the same process that fuels cataracts and macular degeneration. For people with diabetes, this protection is even more important, since high blood sugar accelerates oxidative damage in the eyes. Studies from Harvard Medical School confirm that adequate vitamin A intake reduces the likelihood of vision loss tied to these conditions. So, where do you find it? There are two main forms: beta-carotene, which your body converts into vitamin A, and preformed vitamin A, which is ready to use. Beta-carotene sources include carrots, sweet potatoes, butternut squash, spinach, and kale. Preformed vitamin A comes from animal foods like eggs, dairy, and beef liver. Both forms are valuable, and a balanced diet should ideally include a mix. Here's a simple tip from Dr. James Porter. Because vitamin A is fat-soluble, it's best absorbed when eaten with healthy fats. That means sautéing carrots in olive oil, pairing spinach with avocado, or enjoying eggs alongside leafy greens can dramatically improve absorption. One of Dr. Porter's patients, Donna, age 66, had stopped driving at night because of worsening night vision. After adding more vitamin A-rich foods, like roasted carrots and spinach with olive oil, she noticed steady improvement within a few months. That's the real gift of vitamin A. It doesn't just help you see better, it helps you feel safer, more confident, and more independent in your daily life. If you've stayed with me this far, I want to thank you. It tells me you truly care about your vision and your future, and that matters more than you might realize. We've walked through the powerful roles of vitamin D, omega-3s, B vitamins, vitamin E, vitamin C, and vitamin A. Each one works in its own way, but together they form a protective shield against cataracts, glaucoma, and age-related vision loss. And here's the encouraging truth. Vision decline is not inevitable. According to research from Harvard Medical School, simple changes in diet and lifestyle can reduce the risk of major eye diseases by up to 25%. That means the choices you make at your table today can shape the way you see the world tomorrow. It doesn't require a drastic overhaul. Start your mornings with citrus or berries for vitamin C. Add leafy greens for folate and vitamin A. A couple of servings of fatty fish per week cover your omega-3s. Nuts, seeds, and olive oil bring in vitamin E. And don't forget a little sunshine or fortified foods for vitamin D. These aren't extreme steps. They're small, realistic habits that add up over time. Dr. James Porter, board-certified in senior health, often tells his patients, it's not about perfection, it's about consistency. When you give your body the right nutrients consistently, your eyes respond. Patients often report feeling more confident, more independent, and more hopeful, simply because they know they're actively protecting their vision. So now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these tips surprised you the most? Which one will you try first? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe, like, and share it with someone you care about, because you deserve to see this world clearly, for as long as you're in it.